My name is Joslyn, and in a few short months, I will be 9 years cancer-free. The American Cancer Society defines a survivor as the day that they get diagnosed. I have two dates. July 9th, which was the day I was officially told I had breast cancer, and September 9th, which was the day that I had my double mastectomy. Nothing on my journey has gone the way that the doctors said that it would. And tonight, I'm gonna give you a few short stories as to how things happened. Story number one, the good news and the bad news. My surgeon at the time came into my exam room. My boyfriend at the time and I sat there waiting patiently. He had on a beautiful blue t-shirt, which matched his eyes, and I had on a white and blue polka dotted dress and a white sweater. We were both getting ready to go to work after this doctor's appointment, and the surgeon came in and she said to me, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is you have breast cancer. The bad news is I have to remove your left breast. We both looked at each other and thought, what part of any of this is good news? She offered us both water and sent us to the checkout to make multiple appointments. I knew then that I would need the best team, so I reached out to a fellow survivor, a friend on a similar journey who paralleled mine about a year ahead of me, and said, I need the best doctors in this area to help me. And she did. Story number two, BRCA. I have a lot of family members with multiple types of cancer on each side. The oncology office said to me that you will need genetic testing. My new breast surgeon said, you know what? I don't think you have BRCA. Why would you want me to chop off both of your arms if only one of them did not work? I said to her, I've made my decision. I'm comfortable with it. I don't even need to wait for the genetic testing results. This is what my family and I have decided on. I was comfortable with my decision. I'd gone to Memorial Sloan Kettering for a second opinion. My mother and I went into my surgeon's office for the results, and the surgeon said to me, wow, you are BRCA2 positive. I would have never thought that. I'm not a doctor, but I can tell when they do the graphs about the family size, it was not looking good for me. And again, nothing went as they said it would. Story number three, family. My parents have been divorced the majority of my life. They each remarried and have been with their second spouse for 35 plus years. My parents rarely talked, mostly fought about me, my upbringing, my education, etc. The one thing that they had in common was that their kid had cancer. And no matter how old I was still their kid. I tell people that I'm the lucky one. I have 4 parents who love me and have looked out for me over the years. The one thing that my dad said one day in the hospital was that if there was any one good thing about you getting breast cancer, it was that it brought us back together as a family. And no matter how they felt about each other, they worked together to help their daughter. Story number 4, 2 doctors walk into an OR. I feel like that could be a sitcom maybe. So like Liz, I've taken advantage of the many resources that our capital region has to offer for cancer survivors. I was learning to jog, and I didn't feel quite right. And they always say, listen to your body. So I had seen my oncologist, and at the time she said, wait, because I'm exercising, you're using muscles you haven't used in a long time. So she said, when you come back in 3 months, if you still don't feel good, I'll order a CT scan. So back in 3 months I went, because when you're an active patient, you see your oncology family every 3 months, whether you want to or not. So back we went, and in for a CT scan I went. And then the unthinkable, a call from my oncologist at home. She said I needed to come in. There was a cyst on my right ovary. and my appendix was 10 times the normal size. So into the office we went. She said I needed to see a colon rectal surgeon, and I thought, for an appendix? Why can't my family surgeon just take out my appendix? He's seen everyone in my family naked except for my dad. So she said, no, we can't, just in case, once they get in there. I said, okay. So what unfolded in a span of approximately 4 days was that my Albany Medical Center surgeon thought that the cancer was back, now in the appendix, and the surgeon removing my ovaries and tubes needed to get out the huge cyst ASAP. The urgency of both doctors, the one at Albany Med and one at St. Peter's, was alarming. And I remember looking at my mom in the office, telling her I could not possibly go through this again. Within days, 2 surgeons who didn't know each other and their teams came together to remove 3 organs from my body. And before they put me to sleep, I said, you better play nice. Now, what I didn't know was when I woke up, the gynecological oncologist said to me, I got a call from the surgeon at Albany Med, who I had never heard of, that said, hey, I need to take this woman's appendix out. And he said, well, I need to take her ovaries and tubes out. Can you clear your schedule on Wednesday? So I guess that's how it works in the medical field. And I'm very grateful for both of them. Things that have happened to me. I've had breast cancer. I'm BRCA2 positive. I've lost my hair. I've lost my job while going through chemo. And I've lost friends. After each one of these things have happened, I put myself back together, along with all the pieces of my life, because of my family. Because at every single turn, they were there, with calls, with food, with rides, with hand-holding. They were there. I continue to put myself back together day after day. And one thing I can tell you, one thing I want you to remember is why we're here. I can tell you from experience that my paycheck went to pay my own personal bills and our groceries, Walmart, Target. And when I lost my job while going through chemo, my parents sustained my personal bills. And my boyfriend at the time maintained our household bills. But there was no money for groceries or anything else. And we were the recipients of 2 $500 Price Chopper gift cards. And it took the pressure off of how we were supposed to afford food. And although my friend set up a meal train and people would bring us food the weeks of chemo, it was actually nice to go into a store and pick out your own food. I want to thank you for supporting the NYOH Foundation and why you're here tonight. I sit on the Capital Region Cancer Consortium. I am a New York State leader for Young Survivor Coalition, which is a national organization for women 40 and under with breast cancer. And I try to pay it forward every single day, and I will continue to do so. Thank you.